Standing outside of Kamijou's dorm, Shirai is leaning against the backseat of the park gargoyle and staring at the snow-covered concrete road. The snow falls on her head as she thinks back to what Kamijou said during dinner earlier. To see Kamijou in that state of mind is making her think very differently after all of this time. What would happen if I left it alone? And she had... Her mind drifts back to when he and Misaka saved her. So, what do you think? Am I living up to it? Yeah, for the most part. A slight breeze blows on her pigtailed hair. I need to know how she feels about him. She digs into her pocket, pulls out a pink earpiece, and puts it in her ear. She dials a number and waits. The number that you are calling is no longer in service. That's odd. Hey, Kuroko. She turns to Satin and Uiharu approaching her. You okay? Honestly, I don't know. Say, can you get Misaka on the phone? I can't reach her. We were going to ask you that. Why do you want to call her? I just wanted to know how she feels about Kamijou. Is it because of what Touma said? More or less. Well, let's just go ask him to call her. Maybe he'll have some luck. I doubt it. Seconds earlier, a 6-foot, 10-inch man stands against the glass door on Kamijou's balcony. He grabs the handle and slides it open. He brushes his long, black hair back, adjusts his unbuttoned, black, steampunk-like military-style overcoat, dark green suit vest, the collar of his white buttoned shirt, and orange tie, and brushes snow from his black suit pants and gray military boots. The man looks around and spots Index laying in bed, snoring, with Sphinx laying beside her. He looks to the left and sees Kamijou in his leg-broken bed. A sudden breeze brushes into the room, blowing his overcoat and causing Kamijou and Index to shiver. Shirai, can you please close the door? You're letting out all the warm air. As the boy sits up in his bed, he sees the man standing in front of him, staring back at him with his brown pupils. Out? The man turns his body to him. I guess negotiations will have to do. Touma scoots to the side of the bed. Who are you? Index wakes up and sits up in her bed. Touma, did you turn on the air condition? Her sentence is cut off the moment she spots the man standing next to the boy. Her eyes widens out of shock. She gets flashbacks of this same man in her younger years. Coming back to reality, she becomes furious. You! The man smiles at her. My word, you have grown so much in the last 15 years. Index becomes angry. She quickly gets to her feet, rushes to Kamijou, grabs his arm and pulls him out of bed, putting him behind her and shields him from the mysterious man. At the same time, Odin stands on the table next to the hissing Sphinx. You have some nerve showing yourself here, Black Death. What the Black Death? Like the disease? Unfortunately, all of the churches in Europe are calling me as such. But my real name is Jonathan Zanoff. Wait, that name? You're him? Indeed. And I assume that you are aware of my reputation. I know some of it. Probably for the best. And I see that you have been taking care of Montgomery. Normally, others would not be so lucky with their yearly memory removal. Montgomery? Kamijou looks down at Index. You know, I never thought I would ever hear my real name again. Not from you, of all people. I always remember those who aided me. Speaking of which, perhaps you could assist me one last time. Do you remember Bagan? Index's eyes widens. A single memory comes to her mind, but then she snaps out of it. Not a day goes by without me remembering him. You're trying to bring him back, are you? It is one of 2 promises that I made to the people of the Celtic Republic. Wait, hold on. Bagan? Who's Bagan? A monster that I worked so hard sealing away. A kaiju? And Touma, I told you about this man. And that day in Armagh. Is it true? I am not denying it. Though she should have told you why it had to be. Has she? No. But she doesn't need to. I'm sorry, Mr. Zanoff, but you're not taking away Index just to fulfill a promise to your people. I'm sure you'll find some other way, but right now, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Zanoff turns around, showing his back to them and revealing the Celtic spiral, the Triskelion. He lifts his head up high. You know, when I decided to come here, I really did want to avoid confrontation. I thought negotiations was a way to secure your and everyone else's safety. I have heard many stories of the one that they call the one who purifies gods, the Imagine Breaker, if you will, and how his selfless action saved many lives, including the former magic god standing next to me. But it seems to me that with your decision to protect her, you have unknowingly doomed all of those around you. It brings me such shame that all of their future has been ruined thanks to your decision alone. And it is such a shame that you left me with no other choice. He lowers his head. Kamijou clenches his fists and gets ready. I never thought that one child could change the course of this city's history and the outcome of one's life. He looks over his shoulder directly at Index standing in front of Touma. He looks forward again, but it seems I was wrong. Zanoff quickly turns around, lifts his right leg, and kicks Index on the side of her head. It happened so fast that Kamijou just realized what had happened. The first of many. And if you intend on stopping me, then do it with no hesitation. With rage in his eyes, Kamijou leaps at Zanoff, throwing a punch to his face. But the man weaves and counters with 3 punches to the boy's face. Touma is taken aback, but he rebounds and throws his fist at his face. Once again, Zanoff parries it and punches Kamijou hard in the stomach, sending the boy flying against the wall and on the bed. As he lands, he wraps his arms around his stomach and grunts. Come now. Is that it? Surely there is more. Jonathan walks over to Index and touches her head. She is completely knocked out and a streak of blood is flowing from the side of her head. Perhaps my kick was a little too hard. Get your fucking hands off of her! Jonathan looks at Kamijou, struggling to stand on his feet. He looks away and picks up Index, placing her up on his right shoulder. I see that you have determination. I will admit that. He places his foot underneath the table. But your awareness in combat needs to be tested. He lifts the table off the floor, causing Sphinx and Otinus to jump off, and flings it at Kamijou. The boy jumps out of the way and rolls on the floor. Sphinx jumps up at the man, ready to scratch him with his claws. But without looking away from Kamijou, he catches the cat with his right hand. And another thing. When I said you doomed all of those around you, here is your second example. He places his thumb on the cat's left paw. He applies pressure, and then the bone breaks from the leg. Sphinx shrieks in pain. Touma slams his fist on the floor, gets up, and runs at Jonathan. Zanoff throws Sphinx and Otinus, who catches him, and blocks the boy's right punch with his open palm. Frustrated, Kamijou throws more punches, only for Zanoff to dodge, weave, and block all of them, even with the unconscious nun on the shoulder. He blocks his left fist and spin kicks Touma in the stomach, throwing the boy against the TV. He opens his eyes and sees Zanoff swinging his leg towards his head. He gets out of the way and the man hits the TV, smashing the screen. Touma rolls next to the glass door and stares back at him. Jonathan grabs the TV with his left hand and lifts it up with ease. Don't just sit there like a dead man waiting for death! He throws the TV at the boy, of which Touma ducks out of the way, causing the TV to crash through the glass out into the outside. As it crashes onto the concrete road outside, Kamijou staggers to his feet and gets into a fighting stance. Now that you understand what is happening, let us continue. Touma takes a step forward and throws his right fist, with Zanoff doing the same. The elevator doors opens. The 3 middle schoolers walks out and heads for Kamijou's. Well, why not wait until she gets back? I don't know if I'll wait 3 more days. Sure you can. There's plenty of things for you to do. Yeah? Like what? As they get closer to Kamijou's apartment, they hear a crash. What was that? Probably something that the idiot did. Must be Sleepwalker. They hear another crash. I don't think so. More and more crashes are heard as they get closer. Oh, for the love of... She teleports to the door. She places her ear on it and listens closely. She hears the crashes from the inside and the agonizing grunts coming from Kamijou. What the hell is going on? She removes her ear from the door and reaches for the handle. Suddenly, a loud bang causes her to pause. A bulge appears on the door, followed by another, then another. Suddenly, the door breaks off from the hinges and bursts open. Shirai teleports out of the way in time and appears in front of the terrified San and Uiharu. They see Kamijou with Sphinx and Otinus in his arms and his back to the other side of the door as the door itself falls on the concrete railing.
Son of a bitch!
Touma, what happened? Touma looks over to the right and spots the three girls.
Get out of here! Now!
And so, I meet more of the inhabitants. Touma looks back into his apartment and spots a flying boot. He gets up and runs, dodging Zanoff's flying kick. The door bends by the pressure of his foot. Zanoff, now with Index on his left shoulder, looks ahead and spots the girls and Kamijou staring back at him. Shirai, Uiharu, and San takes one good look at the state of Kamijou, Sphinx whimpering, and the unconscious Index, and they immediately realize what is going on. Both Kuroko and Kazuri takes out their judgment armband and pins them on their right sleeve. You! Under the law of Academy City, we are placing you under arrest. Zanoff lifts his eyebrow. You must be a part of judgment. Doing a noble job is admirable, but in this case, it is useless. Zanoff understands what Shirai had told him, but because of the language barrier, the girls cannot understand what he is saying. Uiharu, don't worry. We can handle this. No, you won't. Take Otinus and Sphinx. She becomes confused as he hands both the cat and Otinus to her. What are you doing? You look like you're in no condition to fight. Don't worry about me. Just get my back. Okay. You cannot be serious. You are unintentionally getting them involved in this when they have nothing to do with it. Believe me, when you have someone hanging on your shoulder, someone that I care about, why wouldn't I get involved? Zanoff's eyes veers back into the apartment, then back at Kamijou approaching him. He digs his foot under the broken down door. Well, if you insist. If you intend on fulfilling your promise. He throws Index from his shoulder back into the apartment, kicks up the door, and slams it back into place, unbending it with his elbow in the process. Then don't disappoint me, Imagine Breaker. Kamijou slams his foot and runs towards Zanoff, with Shirai teleporting behind the man. Upon appearing behind him, however, he back elbows her in her face and ducks Kamijou's punch, returning with another swift elbow to his face. He grabs him and kicks him, using the momentum to launch himself away from the two towards Uiharu and San. The latter swings her fist, but misses, getting hit with an uppercut. Jonathan gets behind her and kicks back Uiharu, sending her flying 5 yards away. He grabs Riko by the arm and throws her, hitting Kazuri. Sphinx and Otinus gets away and takes cover behind the fallen girls. Zanoff turns around and blocks a single-leg dropkick from Shirai and catches Kamijou's right fist. He throws him away and kicks Shirai, sending her flying against the wall and using the momentum to launch himself off of the catwalk. But Kamijou leaps and catches Zanoff as the two falls down below. Talk about recklessness! Zanoff slows his descent and lands on his feet. He punches Kamijou off of him, and the boy crashes on the concrete 5 yards away from him. Kuroko gets to her feet and teleports from the catwalk 5 yards away from Zanoff on the concrete road. San and Uiharu picks each other up and runs to the side, looking down from the catwalk. They can only watch as Zanoff stands between an angry Kamijou and a member of Judgment. Alright, the opportunity is yours. So use it already. Both Touma and Kuroko charges at the man. Zanoff ducks Kamijou's punch, aiming for the back of his head, and sweeps Shirai's legs. He grabs her right leg and swings her like a bat at Kamijou with the strength of 8 gorillas. Her head hits the boy's ribs, and the two falls on the snow-covered concrete. Shirai gets back to her feet and teleports again. Zanoff turns around and swings his right fist, hitting an appearing Shirai in the stomach, catching her by surprise. How does he know where she would appear? He grabs her left leg and throws her. Shirai crashes against the side of a sedan and collapses on her side. As Kamijou gets to his feet, he and the girls on the catwalk hears the sound of screeching tires. A van drifts around the corner and heads for the two. Touma jumps out of the way and the van drifts to a halt. The passenger door opens and Jonathan calmly enters the passenger seat. Once seated, he closes the door. Head for the highway to the border, and don't be afraid to use speed. Kamijou climbs up to his feet. What about the inhabitants? Their fate has already been sealed. I will make certain that it will be done. The van drives off, entering the main road. Kamijou turns his attention to his dorm.
I need to check on Index.
He rushes over to the elevator, staggering and nearly falling over. Shirai gets to her feet and follows him. As the two enter the elevator and Touma pushes the button to the 7th floor, he plants his back on the wall. Shirai does the same across from him.
Hey, who was that?
Someone that Index didn't want me to know about. But I do. He gags and bends forward. What the hell is going on? How does Index or Montgomery know him? Shirai lifts her back from the wall, gets close to the boy, and places her hand on his shoulder. Look, whatever the hell is going on, just tell me. Shirai, you being an Esper would not be able to understand what is going on. Listen, as long as I know, it doesn't matter. All right. He places his hand on his mouth to prevent himself from vomiting more. All you need to know is that the man that was just kicking our asses was Jonathan Zanoff. Jonathan Zanoff? That was him? I thought he was in the Civil War in Ireland. Yeah, I'm just as shocked as you. God, I've never gotten my ass kicked like that before. Look, let's just check up on Index, is it? I'm sure she'll be fine. Kamijou forcefully lifts his back from the wall and wipes the blood from his mouth and chin with his right fist. Kazari and Ruiko are stunned to find Touma in a horrible state. The boy rushes out, with Kuroko trying to help him. Are you okay? Touma? Touma, wait! He runs past the girls to his apartment. He grabs on the side of the broken door and pries it open. He pushes the door to the side and looks inside. Index! Oh no. The girls reaches him and takes a look inside. They too become shocked. Kamijou's apartment dorm is completely trashed from end to end. Shattered glass, broken apart and scattered furniture, and multiple holes in walls. It looks as if a tornado just went through. Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? He looks around as he steps back inside. The girls looks around and they do not see Index anywhere. Kamijou spots a little pool of blood. Then, a few more. He follows the trail of blood leading to the balcony. He and Othinus rushes over, fearing that she must have flown out. But upon looking down, they spot tire trails in the snow and a rope that leads down. Wait. When Zanoff threw Index back inside, she was caught by someone waiting. And when Zanoff put the door back up, it was to block whatever was going on inside, and Zanoff himself was the distraction. When they caught her, they used the rope to guide them down and entered the van. Once they secured her, the van picked up Zanoff and it drove off. Kamijou clenches the metal bar with furious intent. Othinus, stay here. I'll be back. I'm coming with you. Sun, Shirai, and Nuiharu looks down from the balcony as Kamijou walks past them. They took her? Yes. They turn around and sees Kamijou pulling the biker jacket from underneath the bed and putting it on. He takes off his sweatpants and puts on his regular brown jeans. Wait, what are you doing? I'm getting Index back. I heard Zanoff telling the driver to head for the highway. He pulls out a pair of shoes and quickly puts them on. They're heading for the border. Wait, Kamijou, don't you think you should rest and let Indexco handle this? Not a chance. I made a vow to a friend of Index's, and when I get her back, I'm punching that motherfucker's face into the ground. They can feel the rage within them as he said that. Shirai pushes on her earpiece. Intruders are in School District 7 heading for the border, kidnapping in progress. Her attention turns back to Kamijou, fully suited. Kamijou, you should seriously rest. You've been through enough. Kamijou grabs the keys to his bike. Shirai, another thing that you should know about me is that I've been through so much worse. And he thinks I'm just going to sit here and let him get away with what he did? No, fuck that. Not after what I saw. And if you want to help me out, by all means. Othinus flies onto Kamijou's shoulder as he runs to the door. Uiharu, Sutton, take care of Sphinx for us. He runs down the catwalk back into the elevator. He pushes a button to ground level and the doors closes. Of all people, the Black Death. Never thought I would ever meet him like this. If I still had powers, I'd make short work of him. And who would have gotten killed in the process? Listen, if there's something that you know about this guy, then tell me. Unfortunately, from what I heard, I know very little about him. But I do know that the church sees him as a serious threat. I know that firsthand. The doors opens and the boy runs out. He reaches the gargoyle and uncovers it. He picks up the helmet, puts it on his head, and mounts on the bike. He puts the key into the ignition and revs the engine. He feels a pair of arms wrap around his waist. He looks behind him and sees a blushing Shirai sitting behind him, hanging her legs on the side. Please don't look at me and just drive. Aldenus, I think it's time to tell both of us who Jonathan Zanoff is. Kazuri and Ruriko watches the gargoyle drive off with uncertainty of what will happen to the two of them.